I thought I'd show you how I go about drawing elephants. So I've got a lovely photograph of a mother and baby elephant, and I divide the photograph into quarters, and of course the paper gets divided into quarters, and then just using something to measure everything against. So between the two eyes, I'm using that as my measuring unit, and I'm working in pastels with a pastel pencil. I'm working on the Murano, Rowney Murano paper, and I tend to draw with straight lines. I just find it's a lot easier to get a more accurate drawing using straight lines rather than curves. So I keep going back to the measurement between the two eyes and then measuring the widths, etc. When I come to do the legs, it's very much using the negative space, that's the space between the legs, to get the accuracy. I find you just get a far more realistic painting by doing that. I go back to using the gap between the two eyes to measure the size of the baby as well. So once again, it's a lot of measuring going on and using straight lines and just shading in with my pastel pencil as I go. I'm working very fast, obviously it's been speeded up, but it is a terrific drawing to do. And I'm very fond of drawing, and I do like working in pastels, because for me pastels is just colour and you draw with it. I'm a great fan of not painting grey elephants grey, and you'll see that I work with the primary colours a lot, red, yellow and blue. So wherever there are dark places, I'm putting my darkest colour down, which is the blue, or a touch of purple even. And then the medium tones, which is the reddy browns, will go in on top. And last of all, I'll start highlighting it. I don't blend with my finger. I find the colours go flat, and I do like the vibrancy of using pastels. So if I'd used my finger to mix the yellows into the blues, obviously I'd land up with with greens, and that's not what I'm after. So putting the light down with the yellow and just making sure I've got some medium tones going in as well. I might lose part of this drawing, in which case I'll come back and draw it again. I don't rub out any of my original drawing. I paint on top of it. I find that helps not to do any rubbing out. So just putting lots of darks and lights on and working my way around it. The baby elephant's going to be quite purple. I quite like that. It just seems, I don't know, the right colour to pick up. So once again, the light's coming from the right hand side, so wherever it's light I'm putting yellow down. Wherever it's dark, I'm putting the blues and the purples down. And hopefully by the time I work the background in, they will begin to look like greyish elephants. And it's all about optical blending. So I'm now going to go in and do a bit of the background painting. And I've chosen a dark green. So wherever the light is, I'm putting darks in, using the edge of my hand to blend with. So although I don't blend the actual figures of the elephants themselves, when I come to the background I want it to be very smooth and very flat. Going back in with a pastel pencil and just pulling out some of the detail. Making it lighter on one side, darker on the other. And I'm using one pastel pencil to lean on so that I don't smudge any of the paint underneath. You can use a marl stick, you can use anything just to raise your hand above the surface. Once again, smoothing off the background and then coming back in and putting a bit of detail in with pastel pencils. This would have been a 2-hour painting that has been compressed and edited so that it's quite a quick painting, but take your time, get the drawing right. I always think if you've got the drawing right, it doesn't matter what colour you paint it, it will look realistic. So I'm using a brown pastel pencil on top, and it's all blending in, giving it a bit of texture. They have quite rough skin, and that's the effect that I'm after. I very rarely use white, but of course the tusks need to be white, so I brought out the white. I tend to hide the white away from myself, otherwise I get what I call highlightitis. I highlight too much, and so I highlight right at the end. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this painting, please subscribe. Click on the button below. Thank you.